Buildup, yes it's me, and today I'm gonna show you how to make a feature house track in the style of using my remix of Taya's cover of Idol from Oshinoko. But before that, I'd like to say that this tutorial is there because you guys really wanted it to happen since I made this track, and after all this time, here it is. Also, I suggest you to turn on the subtitles so you can better understand what I'm saying, and lastly, this tutorial will be more focusing on his house school track like Boom Wang or Scary to be the new remix. And as usual, you can have this MMPZ project file for free in the description. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. First, set the tempo to 120 BPM and add some melodic elements from your track to tease them with a part of your vocal pitched down and some vintage origin vinyl effect on top. Then add some vocals. Let's feel it to start or lead the break. Big impact. Then add a simple but interesting bass line. With a low pass soul chorus mixed with some words one. Some guitars with some delay on the notes to make it sound more realistic. And lastly, some snaps and a double lifter. This is what the intro and break should sound like. Add the piano to fill up the chord stacks. Open the cutout from the soul chords and add some pads to make the progression more fuller. Then change little the rhythm of the guitars for more variation. A little soundscape for my 3DM sample pack. Then in the verse I did something a little bit crazy. I layered some sub-drop and impact to kind of enhance the momentum. With a chopped down lifter and some little Mestorish drum vibes, I won't lie. A sorbet that I did saturated and low pass to use it as a little sub bass. And a little feel. For the build-up, take all the chords and bass from the verse and change the rhythm to transition into the drop rhythm and low pass it as the build-up goes. For the bass and chords from the drop instrument, it's pretty much the same, but instead of removing the frequencies, add some to make the transition even smoother. Same for the lead. Make some real jump that includes snare rolls, downlifter, uplifter, crashers, and rises. And don't forget about that feel. This is what the verse and build-up should sound like. Let's start with the drums, and to start off we need a good kick with a reversed one for more groove. Some drop claps and rides. Some snappy claps. A tom for more groove as well. Some little perk and feels. A simple hi-hat loop. A downlifter, a looped one to act as white noise layer, and another reversed one to act as an uplifter. some crashes, and a little feel at the end, just here. This is what all the drums I play through sound like. Now with the melodic elements, let's start with the bass tags because that's probably one of the most important things to take care of. First, let's add a sub bass. Then a lot of soul basses mixed with some aggressive one with this exact rhythm. After that I added this growly bass in the bouncy part of the bass line to make everything more groovy. And for some ear candy, some stabs, as well as some growls that plays in the quantitative part of the bass line. This is how the bass tags should sound like altogether. Next, I added the same soul chord sounds as the break, but playing the chords and rhythm of the drum. And lastly for the chords, I did a different sound that acts as a chord feel, which is very inspired by Lynx, and is controlled by this low part filter automation. And lastly for the lead melody, you just gonna have to layer a lot of solos leads, do some pitch bend, and do that exact same rhythm as well. This is very important. With a little reverse LFO lead, the key here is to activate the LFO within the synth and to put the speed at a very low amount to have that flicker effect, and then you just make a volume automation to fade in the melody. Then I added a little perk to highlight some parts of the offbeat notes and a reverb automation to fill up the gaps between the notes. Lastly, I added a little pluck in the bouncy part of the second part of the dub to add some spice on the lead. And to finish everything, I did chop in Nada Asteria's voice in the same rhythm as the lead to make it more interesting. Now let's end there with some ending impact. And there you go, that was how to make a song like Slow in LMMS. But before listening to the final product, I want to say thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure to show you all how I made this track more in depth, and I really hope you learned something out of it. And yes, it was a little bit different than the first version because it was a little bit outdated. But if you did enjoyed, please consider subscribing, like the video, share it whenever you want and where you can, and comment down below if you have anything to say or some question I can answer. Also, don't forget that you can have all the sound I've used in this project as a free MMPZ file, and also most of the sound I use in this track are coming from my free DMZ track called Bleh Sounds Essentials that you can check out with the link in the description. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I see you in a few days. Be the same. Au revoir.